everyone, this is Emerald Mosaic back with the long-awaited third inspirational video. I am so sorry that it took so long, but yes, it's been interesting times that we've been living in, to say it the least. Again, my purpose for these videos is to inspire people, maybe help somebody else get through a rough time. And my disclaimer, all names except for my late wife's have been changed to protect their privacy. Instead of talking about my past today, I wanted to talk about current events because we have been through a Derecho storm. That's how it's pronounced in Spanish. In English, it would be a Derecho storm. So, it was quite the storm. For those of you who aren't aware, almost 2 weeks ago, a humongous storm went through the Midwest. And this is the kind of storm that if it had been at sea, it would have been a class 4 hurricane. It was on land. We had gale force winds. I heard in one part of Iowa, the winds got up to 120 miles per hour. Here in my town, I think the highest winds were clocked at about 110. You don't go outside in that. There was actually one man that I know of in Iowa who was out for a walk when it happened, couldn't get to shelter in time, and he passed away from injuries due to the storm. I knew that we were going to have a thunderstorm that evening, and so I was excited. I love storms. I love thunderstorms. All the energy behind it. And when first the sky started to get dark, I was like, hey, the storm's coming, yay. And my boyfriend, Fox, was in a town about 20 minutes away doing some work. And the shop called them and said, hey, you guys need to get back to the shop. There's a storm coming. And Fox's partner dilly-dallied. And so when they did finally head this way, they said that when they were crossing this one bridge, they could feel, okay, so just to give you the picture, this is lawn service, professional lawn service for businesses, okay? So they've got this truck that has a couple mowers, all of their trimmers, and all the blowers and all the equipment to do their lawn care, right? They're driving up, and when they cross this one bridge, they could feel the back end of the trailer being lifted up by that wind. They thought it was a tornado chasing them. It wasn't a tornado, but the winds were just as bad. It would have been really bad to be caught by it. So yeah, they were being chased by the storm until they got up here. And I'm very glad that they made it safely. And so here at my place, the storm, I saw the storm clouds gathering, and it got dark and it started to rain. And then all of a sudden, in 5 minutes, it went from, it's starting to rain, to gale force winds. And, the trees outside, they would go from like this to all of a sudden just being bounced everywhere. And I was like, I've only ever seen this on the news. When I watched, for a hurricane being reported. That's the only time I've ever seen that before. And it was right outside my window. When the whole house started shaking, because my apartment is part of a 2-story house that was converted into 4 apartments. And so this is a wooden house. This is one of those old timey ones. Beautiful. And when the house itself started shaking like it was a roller coaster, I was like, this is not okay. I'm going to pause this for just a second. My cat is hungry. And for what is 1 second for you is a minute or 2 for my cats, for my side. So, anyway, so yeah, the house was shaking, and I had the closet ready. I have one closet that has no outside walls, and I had my purse there. I had my charge packs, and my phones, and I had everything ready so that if the moment came that I needed to, I could grab the cats and me and get in there and be okay. I didn't need to, thankfully, but yeah, I when I was in the hallway and I couldn't actually see outside, I didn't see the tree between our two houses fall down. And I mean from the roots. These so many trees, beautiful, gorgeous old trees are gone. They were broken. Some of them were broken up high. Some of them were literally torn from the roots all the way down. The devastation around the city was just crazy. I heard stories that, like, one person, she had bought a duplex and knocked down that inside wall, and that was her house. And a tree fell right along that midpoint that had divided the two apartments when it was a duplex. She lost a TV, she lost a china cabinet, and that's it, other than the roof. So, yeah, just crazy. My building, a little bit of the siding and a few shingles came off, and that's about it. Except that trees took down the power lines all over the city. There's still power lines under trees. They are working hard with tree removal. The National Guard did come in for one day and did some cleanup. I kind of wish they'd stayed longer, but my electricity was, of course, gone. And I was without electricity for 12 days. You try surviving without electricity for 12 days. I didn't have my electric stove, so I couldn't cook. Thankfully, my boyfriend, in his survival kit, had two little sternos. It's butane in a can, and you can light it and have a little bit of a flame to heat up water for coffee in the morning. Soup that you don't have to eat at room temperature. Not that it's bad at room temperature. I'm not going to knock soup at room temperature. What I did, I took a can of green beans, I took some of that, and a can of corn, some of that, and I used cream-based soups and put that over top with just a little bit of water added to it instead of the whole can. And that was actually pretty good for not being able to cook. Yeah, so that's that, and sandwiches on ice. Ice was hard to get. Yeah, I got lucky 2 days in a row. Well, 2 different days at Target. I was there as the guy was filling the ice freezer, and managed to snag a big bag of ice. We were only allowed one bag of ice per customer, so of course I grabbed the big one. My boyfriend brought me one of his coolers, and I had 2 coolers here, and between the 3 I would freeze my ice packs in 2 of the coolers and then trade them out for the ice pack I had in the cooler that had the food. I had to throw away a bunch of food. Other people had it much worse. There were people who threw away several $100s worth of food. I lost about $24 worth of food. And they have a program here. Anybody who was on food stamps could get some of that money back. And I haven't checked to see if mine has hit yet. But so, yeah, on a hot day, I didn't have any fans to cool me off. That was rough. That was rough. I don't like being hot. I moved up north to get away from the heat. It's nowhere near as hot here as it is in Texas, but still, I don't do well in the heat. It was just all the little things. I couldn't do laundry. I was like, okay, well, I've got enough clean shirts and clean pants that I can rewear those pants a couple times and maybe wear the shirts a couple times. I can just wash underwear in the sink, you know. And I did that, and thankfully the electricity came on, and I was able to actually do laundry yesterday. You know, with all the hell that I've been through in my life, you would think that this would be a horribly traumatic experience for me. Well, you would think so, but there's a key difference between this and, say, when I was homeless. When my late wife and I were homeless, yes, it helped that we had, each other. And, we were going through it together. So it wasn't just me by myself. But it was only us and then all the other homeless people, which weren't enough. And we weren't part of that group originally, Here in my city, when the storm hit, everybody was having a shared experience. We were all in this together. We were all in the same boat. And that really makes a huge difference. I heard that, when it comes to like PTSD, people who were, say, in the Jews who were in the concentration camps, they were able to tolerate it better because all of their people were there with them. Yes, families got separated, but these were all the Jews. They had a common heritage, a common story, a common nationality, a common language. They were all in this together. And because of that, it was easier. Even though people were dying left or right, it was easier to get through than somebody to go through something like that alone. And so, here we had, when the storm went away and we all went outside to assess the damage, first thing we did was move trees out of the roadway, big branches, get them off the street so that people could get through. Yeah, there was one tree up the street that it was blocking the entire street, and that required chainsaws. But for some of the smaller stuff, I was actually able to help for about 10 minutes before my back gave out and said no more. But for those 10 minutes, I felt wonderful. Oh man, just one of my neighbor guys and we were pulling branches. We were working together and pulling heavy branches off the street. And it felt really good because that was a shared experience. We were helping each other. We were helping our community together. And that makes a huge difference when you're going through something rough. People checking on each other and, hey, are you okay? I'm okay. Are you okay? Kind of thing. I checked on my counselor. I checked on one of my caregivers, and I checked on all my people who were here. So instead of a personal tragedy, it was an adventure. It was easy to go through. The days after the storm actually were a bit harder for me. Number one, I'm an introvert. Number two, since I have Asperger's, which is now officially autism spectrum disorder, I'm socially awkward. Me and neurotypical women, we can have a nice little chat, but it won't go beyond that because I'm too different. And I miss social cues, and I honestly think that some of the rules that women make up for their social interactions are dumb. And so that kind of makes it hard to follow their rules, And so, like, my neighbor girl, she had a grill, an outdoor grill, charcoal grill. And so she was making bacon and sausages and all that one morning. And I was so jealous. And she offered to let me cook on it, right? And the time that I actually had a pot of water in hand and went to ask if I could use it, she goes, the fire's out and I'll have to do it later. And yeah, that didn't happen. Because neurotypical people lie all the time. And it's understood, all the little social lies are understood by neurotypical people. And I'm not neurotypical. And it took me a long time to learn that neurotypical people lie and understand that other people lie. And it's socially acceptable because everybody understands it. Sucks to be one of those who don't. But, you learn. Hopefully. So, so that was kind of rough because I didn't have at that time a way to heat up coffee. My boyfriend had completely forgotten that he has had those little sternos. So yeah, when he found those, I was elated. um, so anyway, when the power came back on yesterday, my neighborhood was one of the last to get power. And so it kind of sucked, going through town and seeing everybody else had power except me, my neighborhood. And even in my neighborhood, I was one of the last ones. My boyfriend got electricity 2 days before I did. And he found out that, so there was three major gas leaks throughout the city. And so of course gas was out too. He has a gas stove. Well, it turns out he got gas back like within 4 or 5 days, and so he was able to cook. And I was like, oh yay, real food. He fed me. He's a really good cook too. He used to be a sous chef, so yeah, he's good. Thoroughly enjoy his cooking. um so that helped a bit to get real food in me. And yeah, but it wasn't possible all the time until I got that little sterno and was able to do a little bit myself. Um, I don't know, I feel like I had a lot more to say on this, and I think that's pretty much it. I mean, if you can go through an experience with other people, if you can find other people to share your experience and to help you, to show you how they got through it and what helped them, and maybe some of those things would help you. I'm sure not everything works for everybody, right? So, and also, if you're one of the people giving advice, say, this is one of the things that worked for me. I don't know if it'll work for you, but it's worth a try, and don't get upset if it doesn't work for them, because again, not everything works for everybody else. It's not personal if it doesn't work for them. It's not like they were trying to hurt you. I've had people get upset when they give me advice and I try it and it doesn't work, and I explain why it didn't work, and people kind of get defensive about it, and I've never really understood why. It's like, if I give you advice and you try it and it doesn't work, okay, let's try something else. Yeah, I'll give other ideas if I can. I don't get upset just because my idea didn't work. So I don't know, maybe that's just an Asperger's thing. I think differently. I'm outside the box. But just look for advice. Ask a lot of different people for what got them through, and hopefully the experiences that you have that are really difficult and traumatic and hard to get through, if you can find people to share that with, hopefully that makes it a little bit easier for you. So I think that's all for today. Next time, I think I'll talk about Mexico. I was planning to talk about Mexico in this video, but yeah, things happened. And here is Minx, who has come to get loves. She's my pretty kitty. Yeah. She's my jungle kitty. She loves to jump. She's an Abyssinian tabby. And she loves to be up on high places. And one time she jumped on top of the bathroom door. On top of the door. And I had to hold the door still for her. And I got a picture of her on top of the door. And jungle kitty. I love it. Anyway, I hope y'all have a wonderful day. And please hit like, subscribe. Please comment. If there's something that I've mentioned in the first few videos that you would like me to talk more about, please leave that in a comment. If anything in here inspired you, please also comment, or send me an email. My email is emeraldmosaicfox@gmail.com. And also, so there's one thing I've kind of been struggling with. I'm supposed to be doing physical therapy exercises, and every time I start physical therapy for my hip, I get derailed. Just in the last 6 months. Well, a little bit more than that. So, last December, I injured my knee. I was in the hospital for several days while they tried to get my knee to straighten out so that they could even do an MRI. That sucked. Then it was coronavirus. Then it was the storm. I'm telling you, every time, ever since 2016, after I recovered from my hip replacement, every time I've tried to go back into physical therapy, something major happened. So, but because my boyfriend, I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep trying to do this. So, but it's been really hard to get any motivation to do my exercises at home because I keep getting derailed. I mean, I'll have fatigue days or I'll have a really bad pain day. My joints are hypermobile and they're loose. And so my joints will hurt. I've got arthritis in both knees, and like today, my right knee is usually my bad knee, and today my left knee is hurting as bad as my right. So stairs are difficult, especially going down for some reason. But anyways, so I had an idea. For every dollar that somebody donates to my PayPal via my email, emeraldmosaicfox@gmail.com, for every dollar that is donated, because I still need money to cover my electric bill for next month. I have until like the last 2 weeks of September to get that taken care of. I'm expecting this month's to be low, and hopefully next month's will be kind of low because of the not having power for 12 days. But even if it's low, that's 30-40 bucks that I don't have. And so for every dollar that is donated, that is a day that I will do my exercises. It's a challenge. So I'm hoping that way people aren't just giving me money. This is a way to motivate me to do what I need to do, because I am seriously lacking in motivation. So if you have a dollar that you can spare and you want to encourage me to do my exercises, please donate via PayPal, emeraldmosaicfox@gmail.com. Thank you. I hope everybody has a wonderful day today. No matter what day you're watching this, I hope that you have a good day. And I'll see you next time. Hopefully sooner than this one.